Hello, fabulous fans and superstars of my dear friend Nadiya Shah. I am Yuriria Robles and I wish you a very happy 2025. Welcome to the predictions for each sign for the month of January 2025. Remember to check your sun sign, your ascendant, and your moon sign so that you have a more complete prediction. Scorpio, your ruling planet Mars is in its retrograde process. At the beginning of the month, it will only remain in Leo for 5 days and then will return to Cancer and will be there until April the 17th, which will make things easier for you, and then return to Leo. Until then, you can focus on a review on your social and professional situation, as you have been doing. But for now, it is your ideas, beliefs, and philosophies that you should review. Also, the trips you make will be to places you already know. You will see them with different eyes. Do not go looking for the past there because it no longer exists. The demand comes from the opposition between your modern ruler Pluto, which has just entered Aquarius, and the old one, which is Mars. Then it brings an exercise of willpower, of social and professional actions that must be reviewed. But looking for a different understanding of your roots, of your origins, you will find where the power that sustains you is. And you may link very strongly with your homeland, helping to transform and modernize it. A power struggle may be established that imposes a deep exercise of review and transformation on you. It is not about holding back, but about acting in a timely manner. That is why it is important that you review your beliefs and ideologies. You will not be able to stay on the sidelines of what is presented to you. You will be forced to get involved. What may help you eventually from the 29th on is that the North Node will move towards Pisces, and together with Venus and Neptune, you will work to leave your children and your loved ones in a better situation. This tense dialogue imposed by the Moon-Pluto conjunction in exact opposition to Mars means a job of action and confrontation, establishing a power struggle that proposes an interaction between the individual and the group in a balanced manner. If you behave as a leader, in addition to acting creatively, you must take the group into account. If you side with the group, you must show intelligence and discipline to control your obsession with the new. The strength is in the dialogue. I suggest that you go with the flow, although for you confrontation is natural and you count on yourself for the transformation that is coming. As Mars is in a period of retrogradation on the 6th, when it re-enters Cancer, it brings your attention to the area of your beliefs, religion, and philosophies. On trips abroad, this review of your thinking and culture will also manifest itself to rediscover what you had already understood and perhaps forgotten. Choose what it is useful to you now and do not cling to old understandings and points of view. By establishing your dialogue with the Sun in Capricorn, your aspiration to organize and expand your thinking, style, and way of communication will be rebuilt, making it more formal and polite, turning your attention to the goals we want to achieve, protecting what gives us security. This dialogue generates anxiety and tension because moving towards achieving goals implies leaving the past behind, and that scares us, especially on the 13th when the full moon occurs together with this Mars, strengthening the old values that made you get to where you are, and you feel that the goals and paths to improve put what has been achieved at risk. This process will extend until April, and only then will we return to the dynamic that was proposed on January the 1st, allowing leadership that is capable of moving the group towards the future with discipline and intelligence. Growth and order are configured by Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces. This supposes a conflict of possibilities. especially in the love scene and creative area. The dilemma is whether to change or stay as you are in relationships. Mars in Cancer is emphasizing attachment to the past, and Pluto imposes its orientation towards the future, which makes the choice even more tense and complex. The dilemma is whether to take a risk or deny an opportunity. Reconciling this is the work. This is a process that will be in effect until mid-year. In reference to love, Venus is finishing its difficult passage in Aquarius for you, but on the 3rd it will move to Pisces, where its energy is expressed gently. It imposes its logic of romance and idealism. It reaches the area of creativity, children, and love. It will ignite in you the desire for pleasure, romance, play, and even speculation. The first thing you will face with Venus is the challenge of commitment, because on the 18th it reaches Saturn and a harmonious dialogue with Mars is established, emphasizing with this love of the past and at the same time the love of the new, because Uranus imposes a brief harmonic link towards the end of the month, when on the 28th Venus reaches the degree to which it will return in its retrograde period in March and April. This complete movement brings you an ideal, enormous relationship that can fill your being with love and passion. It is a unique event that can hardly be repeated in life, especially on the 29th when it reaches Neptune in Pisces, and the North Node also entered these signs. So all this means a great idealization, a longing for love and desire that surpasses all that is imagined. On the non-coherent side, it means a great sacrifice and detachment from reality. This movement to Pisces is emphasized by the North Node that will remain in Pisces for 18 months, with its counterpart, the South Node in Virgo. Let's also remember that this nodal axis imposes surrender, sacrifice, and service to relationships in you, Scorpio, with children, lovers, friends, and communities. This change of nodes affects all relationships that will insatiably seek this idealization that is natural to the North Node in Pisces, but will be considerably enhanced by the Venus-Neptune conjunction. The objective of this configuration is to reestablish faith in love and in the ideal, but it brings the stamp of impatience because it will pass to Aries, and naturally the inferior conjunction of Venus also brings imprudence. The complete movement of Venus will conclude in a long conjunction with Saturn, which is where it started, bringing the love affair to reality. On the 13th, when the full moon forms in Cancer, it does so in conjunction with Mars, which emphasizes the confrontation with Pluto that we have been pointing out. So, taking care of security should not distract us from our goals, because if we do not risk changing, improving ourselves internally, and we hide protecting what we know, we will lose progress and the purpose will not be fulfilled. On the other hand, risking everything by losing security is not advisable either. So balance is necessary, not only during this day, but the following week from the 13th to the 21st of the month, when the Sun will join this dialogue. Neptune allows us to imagine how improvement would be possible without losing security. Perhaps we can sacrifice some things, situations, or relationships in search of progress, realizing that they are really a burden or a comfort zone, and that we can no longer stay in the same place or in the same situation. So we can be honest and use diplomacy and elegance to dismiss the old and strive to reach the new. As I said at the beginning, it requires an exercise of discipline, effort, and willpower, above all, to reach the desired goal. Now let us remember that belonging does not mean adjusting or conforming to what others think or say. It is about offering the best of ourselves and negotiating with others. If they do not want to, that is not the place to be, and in contrast, accepting what others are and offer. If you do not want to, then there is no obligation to stay. But by accepting each and every one, obtains their responsibility for their actions, fulfilling their obligations, and maintaining a creative attitude in the group. Even through Uranus, we are willing to change habits, and the old Mercury in its passage through Capricorn also focuses us on the goal. But even with this, we can insist on the fear of losing what we have gained. Even if it means improvement, it is like wanting to put on new shoes without taking off the old ones. Then, the full moon emphasizes the decision process between the old and the new, leaving the comfort zone, since it demands courage and knowing how to adapt to the unknown. The past will be idealized because Neptune is putting its veil on it, and Pluto supports this mirage. But at the same time, we receive the temptation of the new due to the harmonious dialogue with Uranus at this time. In addition, we feel the confrontation of the wound of the past with the rebelliousness to come to an agreement. In no way are we willing to give in on anything. Venus at this time, together with Saturn, also cooperates in the tense dialogue with Jupiter, which proposes an excess of communication with multiple voices and proposals that cause dispersion, and yet the resolution of this conflict would make us win the future. I propose calm and patience because the pressure of the new is inevitable. For you, this full moon emphasizes the axis of close and distant communication. It will be easier for you at a distance because it seems safer at a close distance, where you will have to be more formal and sensible. You would like to put order in your brothers, cousins, and neighbors, but you have to speak seriously and maturely and free yourself from associations that limit your freedom, and you are not in a position to associate in the traditional way. Just before the end of the month, on the 29th, the new moon, preceded by Pluto and Mercury, reinforces the sense of renewal in the groups to which we belong, in hopes, in ideologies, and above all, in what we consider intelligent. Also at that time, Mars receives all the support to find reasons, feelings to preserve what is valuable. And with that, we will feel strong to defend in an orderly and sensible way our beliefs, politics, and tastes. With the new moon, you will have a clear mission to transform your house, your land, your origins. You will also find yourself in a relationship that may be from the past, although not necessarily, but now it has a much more binding and romantic force, so much so that it seems ideal. That situation will make you reconcile with life, and you will feel very lucky. It is destiny in action without a doubt. Just be careful with resentment and do not neglect your health, so that nothing interferes with what the energy of Venus brings to you. Remember that the new moon in Aquarius with Pluto and Mercury leads to fascination and a taste for the new. In addition, Jupiter at this time brings a harmonious dialogue to get it right with enthusiasm and multiple ideas, inciting towards the new and technology. Furthermore, the North Node promises an ideal, a utopia if you will, and at this moment, the position of Mars in relation to Saturn seems to show agreements on what is worth preserving and what is not. This last planet is the ruler of delineation, and in its position in Pisces, it brings us an effort to accept that it is possible to order the imagined reality. At times, what we imagine will be too big, and we will still suffer from the excesses of Pisces, but we will seek to achieve an improvement anyway. The essential challenge to overcome is to accept the wound, to forgive in order to move, and to force ourselves to negotiate, being honest with those with whom it is truly necessary. Only in this way will we be able to overcome resentment, anger, and paralysis. This contradiction between the group in Pisces and the group in Aquarius makes action difficult for us. On the one hand, it awakens rebellion, and on the other, the wound of acting at the wrong time or without success. The essential thing is, in terms of relationships, is to accept that we must communicate without falling into drama, manipulation, or victimization. But the obligation now for 18 months is to understand feelings, our own and those of others. Analysis will not be in fashion, but we must make an effort to take them into account. The path to resolution is long and goes in this direction. First, let us give space to the new, asking ourselves what we want to free ourselves from. Then, let's review what is truly valuable, inspires us, and has a special value in our heart. Let us make the decision to act with discipline, and then let's remember our purposes and goals. It is with all this that we understand that changing is for our own good. Neither foolishness nor drama helps us at this time. To end the month, the emphasis on Aquarius helps us to be intelligent, but let us remember that we are beginning to reevaluate reason, however high it may be. It cannot isolate us through arrogance. It is rather to teach, to communicate to others, to suggest new paths and solutions, not to impose them by force. Even if it's Pluto, let us choose the path of transformation and let us avoid the path of imposition. Of course, you can.